Hi, and welcome again to the Path to Profit podcast. I am not Minette Riordan. I am Brad Dodson. This is Minette Riordan beside me.
Hi.
We're silly as normal. And today it's just us, and we are talking about sales funnels. We want to demystify them, and hopefully we're going to be able to do that without making it more confusing.
And you know what would be really cool? We haven't done our own
Minette?
bios, right? So why don't you just share a little bit about what your past history is and kind of your personal journey of how you got from being a software engineer for however bazillion many years to...
Well, I think it goes back earlier than that, doesn't it? Wow, you caught me off guard there. So I think I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit because I always wanted to be a contractor. I always wanted to work for myself. And I did that on and off in my software career for quite a while. So I had that in me. And then when Minette started her publishing company when the kids were young, I was behind the scenes in that quite a bit, doing a lot of just whatever it took to keep things moving and understanding, supporting whatever it took to look at the books or set up computers or move things around or do anything. So I have all of that entrepreneurial background. At the same time, I hadn't been exposed to what we'll call a successful, hit it out of the park type of entrepreneurial journey, which is kind of what we're aiming at here at the Path to Profit Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what you were looking for from a bio perspective?
Yeah. I don't know that we've spent a lot of time on the show sharing our personal journeys about where we've been and how we've got there. And I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life.
And you were surrounded by them, and
I was totally surrounded by them. All of my parents, and I wouldn't say that they thought of themselves as entrepreneurs, which is an interesting thing to talk about. They were all super creative, but everyone in my family owned their own business. My dad, my stepdad, my mom had multiple businesses over the years. My uncles owned their own businesses. So pretty much everyone in my parents' generation own their own business. And in fact, they still do. And my uncle who had a contracting business, now his son runs a contracting business. So there's this long lineage of entrepreneurialism on one side of the family and school teachers on the other.
Yeah.
So
mine were teachers and professors and scientists and things like that, and not involved in companies in that way. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. So I don't have that sort of innate. Like I work with a couple people down at Impact Hub that are serial entrepreneurs.
What's Impact Hub?
I'm sorry, our local co-working space in Santa Barbara, which is a fantastic spot.
Yeah.
Impact Hub SB. But they're people that were the type that had the lemonade stand when they were 5, and things just went from there. They never weren't entrepreneurs, and so they understood cash flow and profit and hiring and firing, those types of things from the start. It's just like second nature to them. And I don't know that we're all that way. And a huge part of what we want to do at the Path to Profit Academy is help people grow those skills.
Yeah.
Because what we see are creatives who are fantastically creative and have...
Me?
Yeah, definitely. And have, me too. I have a lot of creativity in me.
Absolutely. Fantastically creative.
And they know that they want to be in business for themselves, but they don't have the skills to do that. They have the skills to create, just not sure of themselves in terms of what to do to run a business, whether that be a solopreneur effort that's never going to be a huge thing, but it's the love of their lives, or our mavericks that are going to take on the world and have a big vision, and they're going to end up with, Richard Branson type of giant economic ventures.
Or Warren Buffett or Oprah.
Warren Buffett's a different animal, but definitely Oprah and Richard Branson.
But I think it takes a lot of creative vision to lead a company like that. So I have our quote for the day while you
Did
were,
we get through our bios?
we got through our bios. No, should I share more about my bio? You shared
Well,
a
you
little bit
can if
more
you
about
want to.
yours.
I wasn't
So
sure exactly where we were going with
Brad
that.
referred to my publishing company. So from 2002 to 2012, I owned a company called Scissortail Publishing based in Plano, Texas. We had a parenting magazine, put on a lot of big expos, learned a lot about running a business, made every mistake you could possibly make, and had a lot of successes, won a lot of awards. But I think it really helped me understand what it takes to build a business from the marketing and sales perspective. I didn't do a great job at the financial perspective, which is one reason why we started the Path to Profit Academy and why we are so passionate about helping you understand how to implement the right systems in your business to get it all going, right? And one of the things as a creative that I've had to learn, which is really hard for me, and it's funny as a quick aside, I had my son was wanting to make some extra money, so I was having him clean out some files yesterday, and one of the things he found was a brochure that my mom and I had created. This was right after we'd moved from from California to Colorado. And we were living in this beautiful little house in a beautiful little town outside of Estes Park called Glen Haven. And my mom and I put together this whole summer of really fun creativity workshops, writing
Yeah,
workshops,
art
nature
classes.
workshops, art classes. And it made me realize how long that creativity has been a thread for me and how I'm just now seeing and creating opportunities to fully integrate that and bring it all back present into my life in some really fun ways. So it was really cool to see that. Um, but it made me think about one of the biggest challenges for me personally and for a lot of my clients who are creatives. And that the quote is, always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later, by Ogmandino. But I love that. Always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later. And the part of being in business and being creative that I love is creating. And the hardest part for me has been to actually channel that creativity into my art. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it all around us in the background, and letting it go, like not feeling like that had to be my business, but I could channel some of that creativity outside of my business so that I could focus on mastery in my business. And I needed to actually stop creating and start really focusing in on what was going to work best and be most attractive to our ideal clients. And it's a challenge, right? It's so easy and fun and playful to stay in that creative mode all the time. And yet it's a disservice both to me and to my clients because it overwhelms people, it confuses people. And so Brad and I really come up with some great ways to help our clients kind of manage that creativity, what we call bright, shiny idea syndrome, and learn to focus in on what matters. And it's not just about what matters to you, it really is about what matters to your ideal clients. And if you listen to our last interview with Elizabeth Bachman, which if you haven't, it was a phenomenal show about speaking, and I highly encourage you to go listen to it. But there was this thread of knowing who your audience is. And it's the same when you're creating products, when you're creating services and sales pages, you have to know who that client is. And so from that perspective, Brad's going to talk a little bit from a digital marketing and online marketing perspective about sales funnels. What is a sales funnel? A sales funnel. We'll demystify that a little bit for you. And we're both going to talk about the customer journey.
Yeah, and I want to back up just one little bit about the quote. One thing,
Mm-hmm.
always do your best. What you plant now will harvest.
Oh, I
You
forgot
will
to add the
harvest
piece
later.
about that harvesting later, that mastery and tending, and
It's
it's
the patience part.
patience part.
And
Thank you. I
I
got off track.
got a year's worth of that in the last year in terms of
Yeah.
just getting an idea of what it's going to take to run a business and to plant those seeds and be patient about it. They're
Yeah.
not all going to grow up into giant oaks in the first 6 months.
Or even in the first year. And we've learned that lesson, I think, really well. This first part of 2017, we have launched a whole new quiz, whole new sales funnel, basically. And we're working with this amazing team that's really helping us understand how to change just one thing at a time. As a creative, I'm pretty happy. Well, let's just throw it all away. It really didn't work. I'll just start all over. It's easy to start over. And instead, I'm learning how to take my time to really focus on that mastery piece of cleaning places up, fixing spots that may not be as attractive as we want them to be, and being really patient. Patience is definitely not one of my virtues,
Yeah,
but
right.
I think that was where I was going with the quote, and thank you for pulling it back to that. But what you plant now, you will harvest later. Even seeds that I planted, gosh, Connor is 18 now, 20 years ago. when we were living in Colorado, those creative seeds and writing seeds are coming back to be harvested now. When I sold my publishing company, I'm still harvesting the relationships that I made during that time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and from getting back to the sales funnel thing, I think from a digital marketing perspective, but this is true from a one-on-one marketing perspective. There's there's a combination of a couple things here. It's how many people you talk to, and what percentage of those you can convert to whatever the individual small next step is that moves them along the process that you want to take them through. Um, so online, you'll see a lot of people, hey, give me your email and I'll give you my free ebook or my free online course or whatever it is. That's a single micro commitment that you've asked someone to make. They identified with your marketing and they took that next step. And so that's a little bit like dating. This is not a lot different than if you're spending all your time on Tinder or whatever. You
Spending all your time where?
Tinder.
I don't know what Tinder is.
My understanding is that that's one of the newer dating apps.
Oh,
we're old, so I'm a little hipper than Minette, but not a lot.
So is that Tinder, like you're sparking the flame, or tender,
yes,
like
Tinder.
Tender?
Yeah. So
learn something new every day. Who knew?
But
are you trolling?
No. No, I got all I can handle.
We just celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary. Yeah.
So this is like dating, and in more ways than one. There's a numbers game involved in how many people you're going to meet. You're also not going to offer your hand in marriage at the first date.
You remember Katrina Sawa saying that when she spoke at our summit in April about, was it 50 people a day? Like you needed to be getting in front of at least 1,000 people a month.
Right.
In all the different ways that you could do that.
And that's not different.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. If you're speaking, or which Minette is doing, or like what we're doing right now, which is a Facebook campaign where we're trying to get in front of thousands of people a day. And say we convert 5 a day or 20 a day. Right now, I think we're doing about 20 a day that we convert to opting into our quiz. Well, that's a given conversion rate. So then you can understand how much time or money or effort you need to put into meeting all that first level of people to convert some percentage into the next level, into the next step on the journey. So you can either spend more money to get in front of more people, or spend more time to get in front of more people and keep your conversion rate the same, or do better with converting. And better with converting in terms of speaking in front of people is to up your speaking game. It's to up your story, like we talked with Elizabeth Bachman about, up your ability as a speaker. What it is you're telling them, how you're connecting with the audience. It's also getting in front of the right people. And same's true with Facebook. If your marketing text is wrong,
for your people,
you're going to spend too much money to get in front of lots of people who are wrong for you. So, and this is true at each level, whether you're at the level where you're just trying to get people to opt into a quiz and give you your email, or whether you're trying to get them to buy a $9 product from you to open their wallets and warm up. And, the dating analogy might be that, you're past a couple of initial texts and you're going out for coffee. Or it might be at the level where you're going to meet the family, or in our case, we're asking them to buy $1,000 online course or come to our summit and get involved in our
high-end group program.
So it's a smaller number of people, but there's still how many people are going through that funnel and what rate you're converting at each level of that funnel. And then finally, and I think Minette, you were alluding to this earlier, it's selling them the right things at each step of the funnel. So God forbid Brad was dating right now. So, you know,
Can I talk a little bit
I
about the
might not,
customer
I might
journey?
not want to take them to the zoo on the first date. I might want to take them to the coffee or,
The
so,
zoo? I would love to go to the zoo on a first
well,
date. It's a great first date
okay.
idea.
So maybe I need to up my dating game, but I, you get the point.
Yes, I get the point.
It might not be let's say an MMA fight.
Oh, well, not if you were trying to date me.
That's right.
But there
So
would be some girls that would be an awesome first date, right? So
you
again,
got to
that's a
sell
great
the right thing
example.
to the right people.
He knows I love animals, so taking me to the zoo would be a great idea for a date.
Okay.
Now.
Guess we're going to the zoo this afternoon.
Well, we did go to the beach this morning and saw at least one seal and one sea lion
Mm-hmm.
and a few birds. And it's springtime here. The orioles have been amazing. We had seen
Mm-hmm.
a lot of beautiful birds lately. But I want to share with you quickly an activity that we did live with our private group coaching clients that really helps you to visualize. Because what I know about creatives is that Brad and I can talk to you, at you, and with you all day long, but there's something about seeing it and adding a visual creative element to this kind of work that can simplify the process. And obviously, step one is really knowing who your ideal client is. And is that the cat? I'm hearing the cat like clack, 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 scratch on something. So sorry, squirrel moment. But we talked in one of our very first episodes about identifying your ideal client. So we can put that in the show notes to refer them back to that. So we're not going to talk about how to identify your ideal client today. Just please, 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 please trust and believe us that the secret to your business being profitable and successful is having a crystal clear picture in your mind of who your perfect clients are. And once you know who they are, the next step that you can take is to map out their journey. And I actually encourage you to get a big sheet of paper. You could do it with just a pen or in a journal, but the bigger the sheet of the paper or whiteboard would work really well for this, or a chalkboard would work really well for this. And really create a timeline of the journey that you take your customer on. So when your customer comes to you,
So this is drawing a big arc.
this is drawing a big arc. Thank you, like a rainbow. So I forget that the people who are listening and not watching can't see my finger going left to right across the
Don't do it in the car, but when you get home, draw a big arc.
Yes, no drawing and driving at the same time. So get a big piece of paper, draw an arc like the top of a rainbow or the top of an umbrella. And point A on the left of the arc is where your customer is starting their journey with you specifically. So how are they feeling in that moment when they first connect with you? What are the problems that they're experiencing? And then kind of point Z on the end of that arc is going to be, what is it that they want most? What is their life, their business, their relationships, whatever the problem is that you're solving, look like when it's fully satisfying, when everything is working perfectly and they're completely happy? So you have this then big journey that you take them on. And along this journey, there's going to be key points. Usually when you solve one problem for your client, it opens up the door to another problem. So I have a lot of people say, in fact, I'll share a quick story. I spoke to a woman on sometime last week who was really struggling with clarity around the problems she was solving and who she was solving them for. And typical creative, I get these kind of conversations all the time. She's actually trying to build 3 different businesses, and they were all different business models. And 2 of them were, actually all of them involved online technology, which she doesn't love and really struggles with. One was as a wedding planner, one was as a travel agent, and one was as a life coach, right? So not a lot of connection between those 3, but she was really passionate about all of them. And I just helped her see that using her life coaching as the point in which she pulls people into her customer journey, she'll have the chance to solve sometimes travel problems, sometimes wedding or event planning problems, but she's helping them along the journey. So understanding the point of entry is crucial to the journey. But then along that journey, really look at what are the different problems? Where do they get stuck? What are their biggest successes? And what products or services do you have that help move them from A to B to C to Z on that journey? So sometimes we can get really confused about wanting to just create or get excited about a product or know something that our clients might need, but we don't know where in the journey it is. So part of demystifying sales funnels is not giving them everything you've got at the beginning of the funnel. right? Not taking a fire hose approach. I was on somebody's website the other day and their free ebook on their site was 150 pages. I'm not going to read a 150-page ebook. I didn't even know where to start. It was completely overwhelming.
Yeah.
But if she had said, I'm going to give you 3 strategies for improving your brand online, I would have gone, oh, I can implement this right away.
Yeah, and I think it's really critical to remember, folks, that you're solving problems. You're not throwing a product at somebody.
Yeah.
You're trying to solve a problem, and you need to find out what problem it is that your customer has. Ask them.
Yeah.
Or they're probably already telling you.
And what are they willing to pay to have solved?
Right.
I think is important as well as you're moving them along that journey, right? It has to be urgent enough that they're going to invest in getting your support.
Well, and that's where you
unless you're an artist, which is a whole different funnel conversation.
That's where you can convince them by showing them the value that you're producing. But these micro commitment type of things are crucial on that person's journey. And once again, you're not going to go from texting someone and you just met them to offering them marriage. You've got to warm everything up, to go from a cold customer to warm to hot to super satisfied, a long-term relationship, whatever that may be. So it's not just a matter of drawing this arc and then placing your products on the arc.
It's attached to the problems. I said that, right?
It's drawing the arc and showing that customer, hey, I have this problem, or the customer saying, hey, I have this problem, and you saying, hey, I have a solution for that. Would you like me to show you how I could help you solve that?
And I want to just say a quick aside here to our makers that might be listening to this. And if you haven't taken our quiz, you should go to pathtoprofitacademy.com/quiz. Find out if you are a mentor, maker, or a maverick, so you'll know what we're talking about. Plus, it's really cool to make sure that you're building the right business model for your creative business archetype. But for the artist crafter population, sometimes they get this sense of, well, the customer journey doesn't make sense to me. I just want to sell my art or my crafts. And it actually does make sense, because even when it comes to buying art, there's a very clear journey that people go on and experience with you before they buy your art. And I want to share a story about when we bought that beautiful pastel, the Minnesota Grasslands one. So, Brad and I love to buy art. And back when we were double income, no kids, we bought a lot more art than we do these days with two getting ready to go to college. But we were at an art festival and we were walking around. This was in the beautiful Cottonwood Art Festival in Richardson, Texas. And we walked past this guy's booth and fell in love with this pastel. So that was the first step on that customer journey, was just noticing those look really cool. And then the kids were like, I'm hungry, or I want to go to the kids' tent. And so we kind of walked away and we thought about it and we talked about it and we came back to the booth again. And this man was brilliant. So he did a couple of things. So he came out, talked to us, told us a little bit about where the places were, listened to our story. He had some beautiful pastels from Colorado that felt like home to us because we spend a lot of time with my mom in Colorado. But we were trying to decide between a couple of different pastels. And he took our kids, our 2 very young kids who were...
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yes, they were very curious and asking lots of questions. And he let us look and he answered our kids' questions about his art. Like, this beautiful pastel we have has this row of purple dots across the line of the trees. And the kids were really curious about, why is there purple in the green trees? I mean, questions from kids are brilliant. But he answered the kids' questions and kept them busy, gave us the space and the time to really see if this painting was going to work in our home, if we really wanted it and could commit to it. And then he followed that up with telling us the story about that particular painting, what was happening that day. So he created this very personal connection for us with our whole family, as well as with the painting itself. And then, of course, wrapped it all up beautifully. It was just like the most amazing buying experience of a piece of art. And I think sometimes if you're just focused on trying to sell stuff online, you're losing the human connection. So part of that customer journey is to really be clear about what art does what problem does your art solve for people?
Mhm.
Because even art solves a decorative problem, right? Or an emotional connection. It creates the opportunity for you to share your story and your journey in a way that gives people hope, right? And that gives people sees a possibility or dreams. There's all kinds of amazing ways to connect art and craft with people's lives that still successfully moves them through the customer journey.
Yeah, and part of that too is how they see themselves after the purchase.
Yes. Oh, that's a great one.
Especially
Can you
true.
talk about the sad face, happy face?
Yeah, well, when I took the certified digital marketing professional course from Digital Marketer, which I can't recommend enough for folks, digitalmarketer.com. Um, they gave the example of these people trying to sell a small infant bathtub, like in the sink bathtub, and they gave the image of the mom beforehand, where bath time is just this horrible event.
Slippery salmon.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's trying to bathe
anybody with kids will know what we're talking about.
the kid in the sink, and it's taking an hour, and it's frustrating, and everybody's a mess, and everybody's crying,
including the mom.
yeah, exactly. And to the steps through this customer journey, where by the end they've got this tub. Now bath time is awesome, mom is happy, the kid is happy, it takes 5 minutes, and she's telling all her friends, and she's like a mini thought leader amongst her group of moms, because she's got this product that works great, and all of a sudden bath time is awesome, and she's in a position where she can sing that product's praises, and does that because it's made her life better. And that's certainly true with art, although I don't know that we don't go off and tell our friends all about our art, but it is nice to be able to
But we
have
do
it.
when they come here.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
It's
When they
nice to,
come, when we have guests to the house, we definitely tell the stories because people always comment on our art.
right. And
Right?
and I think definitely for us, the things that we buy are a reflection of ourselves. So
Yeah.
um,
It's a great way to put it.
those things are on our walls, and they make our home more us.
And they all have a story.
Yeah, definitely.
Where we bought them, what we were doing at the time.
Right. So, whether you independent really of what it is you're vending, whether you're a life coach, whether you're a graphic designer, whether you're uh, a painter,
Or a corporate consultant. Right?
or a musician,
Mm-hmm.
you're taking people on a journey.
Yeah.
And there's things that you can sell them on along the way that really help them out. I think that's key. You're helping them, and we try and reinforce that. A lot of our artists, or our healer types or holistic types, they don't feel like they should sell what they're doing. But you're actually helping people by selling what you're doing. You're helping people by making enough money to get in front of more people, and spread your message that much further. Um, So where were we going to go with this? We talked about the funnels. We talked about
So can you just,
the arc.
yeah, we talked about the art. So we said we were going to demystify a sales funnel. A sales funnel is basically a clear path of what happens when somebody finds you for the first time, whether they find you on social media, whether they hear you speak, whether they stumble across your blog on the website, or they hear you on a podcast interview. It's they hear you or see you or read something you've written for the very first time. You have to know without any shade of doubt what's the first step you want them to take, right? So from that meeting to the first date, the first piece of the sales funnel is, what do they get when they meet you? And like Brad said, it could be an ebook, it could be a video series, it could be a challenge is really popular right now, right? It could be a sales call with you, a strategy session, a breakthrough session with you. And if you're trying to get one-on-one clients, that's one of the fastest ways to do it. And then you have to be really clear. So after they get your free thing, what are you offering them next? And that thing that you're offering next has to be solving the next problem in the customer journey. So every step of your sales funnel, from the very free, right? If you actually imagine it like a sales funnel where people are pouring into a funnel, at that free end, what's that, very beautiful, inspiring, and useful slice of the work that you do that you can offer to people, and they see it and they go, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. So what's the next slice? And then now I'm ready for the whole pie.
Yeah. And that's crucial to remember is that
Excuse me.
once people are engaged with you,
They'll
once
stay
they
engaged.
know you
Mhm.
and they love you because they identify with, you've identified your ideal client, they like you because they see some of your themselves reflected in you.
Yeah.
Um, Once they've taken a step, they just want you to tell them what to do next, right? They want you, they don't want to have to guess about things. They're not going to proactively do things. You need to tell them, hey, this is your next step in the journey.
Yeah.
um, so I think that's really, really critical, you is that, you know. And if, you know, maybe you have a store and you're selling pens and you're selling classes and you're selling workshops,
Mm-hmm.
and they come in the door and they look around and hey, this is a neat spot and I'm going to buy the cool new pen. And then you've got their email and you tell them about your next class where they could use that pen.
Yeah.
And they could do something really cool with it. And then they take that class and you tell them about
The journals and
the journal, or you tell them about
all
your,
the other supplies
or
that they
your,
need.
yeah, or your 2-day getaway in
Yeah.
La Jolla to do an intensive
Yeah.
art training thing. Um, you know, it just, but you have to have drawn out that arc,
Right.
drawn the little stick figures of your customer along there with different facial expressions, whether they're sad or getting happier or angry because, you know, you're taking through some deep spiritual work or whatever it is. And then you can place your products along that arc where they're solving problems.
Yeah.
And so the reason it's called, so I realize we have two images here. We've got this arc. The reason it's called a funnel, like Minette said, is that you start with lots of people. You're trying to get lots of people to opt in at the beginning of your free stuff. And then some percentage of them are going to, at each level, as you go down into the funnel, are going to convert into people that love you that much more.
Yep.
And want more
and marketing
more
is a
of your
numbers
stuff.
game.
That's
right?
right.
The more you can bring into that funnel, the better. But it starts with your free product all the way down to your highest priced products and services.
Mhm.
Yeah. Brad and I are both doodling over here while we're talking. So if you're watching us on YouTube and we're not looking at the screen, we've got all these really fun doodles. We both love the way that doodling really can keep you connected to the moment. So go doodle while you're listening to us.
That's right.
And go start that customer arc. And I guess I would add to this conversation that if you're feeling really stuck on this piece, stuck with identifying your ideal client, or stuck with really understanding how to create those funnels and those customer journeys, then I would love to have a conversation with you. And they can go to bit.ly/Dr. Minette, bit.ly/Dr. DRMINETTE, Dr. Minette, and just sign up for some time to chat with me. We'd love to chat. You can chat with me, chat with Brad. You can put in the form, I don't want to talk to Minette, I want to talk to Brad. Or you can have both of us.
She's nicer.
I'm nicer. I've just been doing it a lot longer. So just get the support that you need right now. You've heard us talk repeatedly on this show. We're huge fans of investing in ourselves at a high level in coaching, but it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, right? To get the support that you need. One conversation, I can help you get crystal clear about that customer journey and making sure you're creating the right products and services that your clients want to buy. And I think we can probably close it with that. We could talk about this all day long, but
yeah, we're done dating. Just remember,
we're going to the zoo now.
Just remember, you're dating your clients.
Yes.
You need to take it easy and warm them up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't overwhelm them on the first date. So I'm Minette. This is Brad. We are the Path to Profit podcast. And
love you guys.
We love you guys a lot. Brad loves saying that. And what we're working on in our business right now is getting geared up for our fall summit, September 22nd to 24th in LA. So you can always go to pathtoprofitacademy.com/summit to see what we're up to and come spend 3 full days of creative play working on your business with us. It's a blast.
Bye now.
See ya.